Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Ultimate Guardian Predator from Predator 2. This guy is very similar to the City Hunter that we just reviewed, the battle damage one, but he does have some really unique accessories and some pretty cool details. So there is a lot that you're going to see here that is the same that we've seen tons of other times on Predators, but there are definitely some unique features here. I personally really like this one just from a subjective perspective, but there's definitely some good stuff to look at objectively, and you guessed it, there's some bad stuff too. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 21 centimeters, which makes him pretty close to 8¼ inches. Of course, that depends on how you have him standing, but I have him pretty much straight up and down. Before we get into the review, I want to ask you guys, I think I might have asked this once before, but I'm going to ask it again because I don't remember, and question of the day coming up is hard. And coming up with questions of the day is extremely difficult when you do so many. Question for today is, mask or no mask for your Predators? This guy comes with both. Which one? Not for this one specifically, but for any of them. As a rule, which do you prefer? As a kid, I was all about the masks. I thought they were cool. As an adult, I think the open face allows for so much more detail and expression that I like that. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetics on this guy. Most of it is exactly what you've come to know and love from NECA. The armor is all bronzy with like a greenish wash to give it like this kind of patinaed look. The shoulder is a great example of that. It does look like old dirty metal. I would say they did a good job with that. Looks very nice. Even this is what kind of bugs me though, is this doesn't look like it should be that same color because it doesn't look like the same material, but it is. But you do see a lot of that metal look throughout this guy, and they did a good job. The faceplate though is an entirely different look of metal. They did a better job with the little bit of battle damage that's on there than we've seen in some of the past releases. That's good. His fishnets overall are decent, though we've seen a stronger paint job here and there. This one's not bad. It's still considerably good for the price point. I would say it's hard to get that kind of fishnet painting done really well. His is definitely not the best example, but it is done well enough, unless you're getting up super close like in a review. His body paint is pretty good. Everything's pretty much where it belongs. I've seen this one leg looks off though. I've seen better because of this leg. Otherwise it does look really good. And once we get to the unmasked head, you'll see some really nice paint. Like one of the best heads that they've ever released in my experience. So his pouches, his fanny packs, his purses, that's all done really nicely. Nothing really stands out as being a problem. The dreads are well painted. Everything looks good on this guy. I'm pleased with it from an aesthetic perspective. We do have his detonator on the wrist. The things are in there, the symbols are in there. That's good. There's no detail missing. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this release from an aesthetic standpoint. I'm going to give this guy a 9 out of 10 for the aesthetic. Yes, you could have better paint, but there's still more paint on this than like half of any other line for a whole year. Like, these guys are loaded with paint detail, so I'm willing to excuse some of the less than accurate details when there's so much to choose from. I said that kind of funny, maybe you couldn't tell, but I said choose with a T instead of choose. Okay, let's talk about the accessories, of which there are many. Alternate head first off. We have the helmeted head, I already showed you that. Then we have the unmasked head or unhelmeted head, and this is one of the cleanest looking heads they've done. It has the more open mouth rather than the closed. Wow, I can't talk. Closed mouth. Talk like Mike Tyson over here. It looks good. They did a really, really good job. It's not the full open mouth, but the details are exquisite. The paint on the head, the paint on the eyes, everything looks great. Love it, love it, love it. For the hands, on this guy, we get a gripping hand and a disc holding hand on him in the package. Then we get our two wide open hands and another gripping hand. So all the same hands that we're used to. They all have the same hands unless there's something unique about one of them, like the net launcher or something. We do have the open and closed gauntlet gun. So there's that. Just those pop in and out, nothing special there. We do have the different pieces for his backpack. One is the little tiny backpack, and one is the one that looks like it would be what turns into the gun that replaces his arm. So speaking of which, he does have a giant gun arm. So you can replace the whole gauntlet on his one side with a gun? Honestly, I don't know. So I was thinking that's what you do, but now that I'm looking at it, there's like a big peg in here. Can you see this? There's a big peg in there, and it doesn't look like there's enough room for a peg over here because of the way the elbow's made. And I couldn't separate this earlier. I don't know. Does it just replace his hand? It must just replace his hand. Let's see. I don't know. They don't come with directions. we're gonna figure this out together, live. I'm guessing it just replaces his hand and it goes over everything else. It's hard to say. I don't know, because that has the... I don't want to break the detonator off. Ugh. I don't know. I'm going to have to play around with it. I don't know. There's got to be a way for this to connect. I thought it replaced the whole gauntlet. Like it went on like this. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to try to figure that out. I'll put some text over here so you guys can know. But we do have this giant gun arm, which comes with blast effects. So you can put the blast effect on there or off. That's fine. These little back ones also come on or off. So that's pretty cool too. As far as blast effects go, that's not it. We also get a blast effect for his shoulder launcher cannon thingy, his blaster, so that's pretty good. And that's it for blast effects. We do get both discs. We have the open disc and the closed disc. We have his extended spear and his space pine cone. Mine does have a hole on his back for the clip, but did not come with a clip. I do not know if they're supposed to. Mine definitely did not. I'm assuming they didn't do it on purpose, but I have had them in the past where they're supposed to and didn't, so I couldn't say for sure. Alright, and that's it for accessories. I went through them fast, but there's a lot there, so 9 out of 10 for accessories. The confusion about the gun arm is definitely not a good thing, because I'm kind of an experienced collector, and I'm not sure what to do. And somebody who's not might just start pulling on things and breaking things, and these guys are somewhat prone to breaking, so that's definitely a downside, but a cool accessory nonetheless. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about articulation on this guy. He is on the big ball peg for the neck that we've seen a lot lately for the Predators, for probably all the Ultimates, and maybe some even before that. So you get really good range out of the neck, no problem there. The blaster does slide on the shoulder pad, though it's very tricky and finicky. I'm not going to do it on camera too much because I don't want to risk breaking it, but you get a little ball peg at the top there for the blaster, and then it'll slide in that little cavity right there. That rail, it'll slide in there. For the shoulder, this is on the forearm, so that's good. You can move the arm around, no problem. And it'll flex, and you can get the arm up. No problem, that's good. Double elbow is fine. Be careful you don't break the little thingy. But it does work. Oh, that was close. I almost broke it. It does work though, so that's good. Wrists all have a swivel and a hinge. This shoulder does have more limitation due to the pad being on the shoulder, but it flexes and you can get it up pretty far. That's what she said. And then this has a rotation at the gauntlet just like on both sides, and we have the extendy blades. They do go in and out. I remember them having better range in the past, but... Oh, come on. There we go. I guess that's not too bad. That's pretty good. Same wrist joint. I already showed you the tack pad thingy, the detonator. He does have pretty good range for the torso. It leans around pretty well. It's the same as the last guy. This one's a little stiffer. I haven't heated him up. I never heat the figures up before the review. I want to show you guys what you get out of the package, because what I do to fix them or to make them more usable is not something you may be able to do, so I need to review them as they come from retail. We have a ball peg at the waist, which does allow more range. It's not the most range ever, but these guys do pose well enough, and if you do hit them with a hairdryer in the torso, you can get a lot of range out of this torso, so that's good. The hips on this guy, going out to the side, they work just fine. We have the traditional Predator hips. No problems there going out to the side. I can't get the thigh swivel to work on either of them, though. It is in there, it just doesn't work. This leg does go forward and back. It's pretty floppy, so that's not great. And this leg is totally just stuck. Totally messed up, just like his brother, the City Hunter, with the battle damage. I don't know what's going on with the hips there, but this is something NECA really needs to sort out. The Predators are excellent figures, even with the problem. Like, I still get them and I still recommend them, but it is a serious problem that needs to be fixed. These hips need to be redone. There's enough Predators being sold, I assume, that the cost of fixing it has to get worked in there at some point. That's my take on it. Alright, so we have a double jointed knee. It works just fine, no issues there. We still have the peg hole for the net launcher on there, he doesn't come with it. And then the ankles are on the ball pegs, which work really nicely for ball pegged ankles. So once again, it's a really good set of articulation for something like this, but it does have some fragility and some stuck joints. You will be able to work around those with a hairdryer. The swivel especially, if you heat the thigh up, the swivel will pop free, no problem. It might help with the hip, I don't know for sure, because that's a harder plastic and I can't tell why it's stuck. Oh, hey, the swivel just opened up on this one. So the swivels are generally safe to try to get going, but if you put torque on the hip itself, you could break the hip, so that's a little iffy. Anyway, articulation on this guy, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I don't know what I've been giving the other Predators, but I'm getting tired of the hips, so I'm knocking off a few points, but otherwise it's good articulation. So yeah, it is what it is. Okay, final verdict on this guy. Aesthetically, I really like it. The accessories are really good despite the issue with that blaster gun thingy. And I like the alternate head. I like the articulation's good enough. Yeah, it's another really strong release. I'm going to knock it down to an 8 out of 10 overall just because of the issues. These are things that need to be fixed. They've been talked about for years at this point. It just needs to get done. The figures are still excellent, don't get me wrong. I'm never going to tell somebody to not buy the NECA Predators, even if you have to deal with a broken figure or a stuck joint. Like, we all know that's an issue, but you're getting so much for your money when you can deal with those issues or get around them somehow. I love this line, and I don't even really care about Predators, so that's my 2 cents on that. All right, let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you thought about the video. Thanks for watching, by the way. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.